What's up, guys? Thunder L here back. I want to talk about Sunday's game. Well, actually, both Sunday's games, because last Sunday against the Niners I'm going to get into, but I also want to talk about the game against the Chiefs. So currently, the Chargers are 5-4, the Chiefs are 7-2. You win on Sunday, you're 6-4, the Chiefs are 7-3. Remember, the first time these two teams played, the Chargers essentially dominated the first half, and then the second half they let it get away from them. And speaking of letting a game get away from you in the second half, the Chargers, they only scored 0 points in the second half. I think they punted on their first 3 or 4 obviously drives. Basically, 3 and out. A lot of that was just due to being stubborn. When you're on offense and you're running the ball on first down and it's going nowhere every single time, you've got to open it up. You've got to throw the ball. And don't get me wrong here. Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Gerald Everett, these players are not there. They're all injured. But you still have to let the ball go down the field. I mean, the 49ers front dominated the second half of this game, and that was really the storyline. Not to mention that even when the Chargers were throwing the football on third down, their offensive line was getting beat because they had several backups out there. So essentially, this game just came down to who was the healthier team. And there isn't a more depleted team than the Los Angeles Chargers. Justin Herbert, he has that rib injury. Of course, he was in concussion protocol. The Chargers they've been unlucky this season, but despite that, they were still down 3 points in the fourth quarter in this game, and they're still in the playoff race. They're 5-4. They're over 500. They play in a division that we all thought would be loaded, but to find out, it's only 2 teams. So the Chargers, they weren't able to execute really the past couple of weeks. It hasn't been all pretty, but getting Mike Williams back, obviously getting Keenan Allen back, getting one of your linebackers back, getting your tight end back, it's only going to be up from here. But if you guys haven't already, smash the like button for the algorithm, subscribe if you're new. I apologize that for right now I'm just using the Chargers logo. I try my best, bro. I'm in my last semester at college. It's been really tough. I try to get you guys videos when I can. I'm double back-to-back days here. But I love the Chargers, man. Like I said, I'm not capping when I say this is my favorite channel. I'm not claiming to be an expert on the Chargers, but this was the first team channel I ever made. So I'm sticking with it, man. I love this team. I love the fans. And I'd love to see the Chargers go out there and get themselves a Super Bowl. But let's look at the schedules, right? We'll get into Sunday's game and things like that. But I want to get into the schedules. So you're at home Sunday night. Then you take on the Cardinals, the Raiders, the Dolphins, the Titans, the Colts, Rams, and Broncos. We're not going to get into what games will they win hypothetically because who the hell knows. But that schedule's not very difficult, right? It's a pretty lenient schedule. I mean, obviously the Chiefs are tough. The Cardinals, we know what they can put up points, and that game's in Arizona. But the Dolphins game is in Los Angeles. You've got home field for that at least. You're going to be at home against a tough Titans team, especially defensively. You're on the road against the Colts, which is good because you want to be on the road against a team who has really struggled this season. And like I said, Denver Broncos is on the road. So I don't really have concerns with the Chargers. I feel like even though they've gotten off to a really sort of start that they would not have preferred, but they still have a chance to finish out the schedule strong. And if you look at the Kansas City Chiefs schedule, well, they're going up against you guys, the Chargers, and then they're going up against the Rams, who are completely dysfunctional and no Cooper Kupp. Bengals, Broncos, Texans, Seahawks, Broncos, Raiders. Honestly, I don't know what is going to happen, but I personally don't think that the Chargers will win this division. They can, but I don't think they will, which means they're going to be a wildcard team. And if you get into the playoffs as the Chargers, obviously Joey Bosa will be back a couple of weeks, I imagine. You're getting guys back. If the Chargers can just make the playoffs, they don't even need home field. I mean, the Chargers went Arrowhead this season. They should have won that game. They made some just really silly mistakes. Obviously, the offensive coordinator, Lombardi or whatever, he's to blame. I think he's a stubborn coach. I mean, when things aren't working, he still goes to it. I don't understand in the NFL. You can't make adjustments. But you went into Arrowhead. You didn't win the game. You should have. But obviously, the 49ers game, you should have won that too. You were the better team in the first half. And in the second half, you collapsed. And still were in a chance to obviously make a play. Herbert threw that pick. And there was a completely just missed call, obviously, in that should have been a touchback. But I could get into the officiating that this game was lost because of the Chargers. As simple as that. And I was extremely impressed with the Chargers' run defense. It showed up big time. I mean, they held the 49ers to 4 yards per carry. There wasn't a run over 15 yards in the game. A lot of it had to do with Derwin James. He had, I want to say, 13 tackles at the top of my head. Khalil Mack was a stud. This game just simply came down to the front. The Chargers' offensive line was giving up way too many pressures, and that was the game, because even though the Chargers put themselves in really bad positions, they weren't able to execute because they couldn't get any protection, and then also they were giving up long plays on third downs. So I really don't want to talk anymore about this game, because NFL is just, it's a week-by-week league. They play once a week for a reason. That game's the past, right? I'm recording this on Tuesday evening. You guys might be watching this. It's gonna, by the time you guys see this, I have no idea when it's gonna be, but it's not gonna be like late at night. It's 7 o'clock for me, and I'm 3 hours ahead of you guys, so you'll probably be watching this, I guess, around the same time as I'm making it right now. But all that matters is just winning the next game, bro. I can't stress it enough. For the Chargers, it just has to be 1-0. That has to be the mentality, the mindset is going 1-0. If the Chargers can just go 1-0 this week, 1-0 the next, eventually they're going to get on a win streak. And the Chargers are still a very talented team. I understand that they're missing a guy like, obviously, J.C. Jackson for the season. They're missing a guy like their stud left tackle, who was all-pro last season, Rashawn Slater. You're not getting those guys back, but there's still enough talent on this team. You still have Justin Herbert to go out there and to win football games, and we saw that against the 49ers. They put themselves in a position to win despite a lot of errors, but now that has to be cleaned up. You're at home against the Chiefs, which helps, but this is a Chiefs offense that is extremely difficult to predict. I mean, Mahomes hit 9 different players last week, guys. They look great. Juju went out. No Juju. And they still were able to get production from MBS and from Kadarius Toney. So for the Chargers to win this game against the Chiefs, they're going to have to contain Kansas City's pass rush. And Kansas City's pass rush is not that great. I mean, Chris Jones is a stud. They're going to have to contain him, because basically multiple players on the Chargers offensive line was giving up a sack or 3 to 5 pressures, basically everyone. So that can't happen. But also, you can't just run the ball on first down every single time if you're gaining a yard or two. Because if you're putting yourselves in third and long situations, you're going to be in for a very long day. And I know the 49ers in their third and long situations actually picked up over 50% of them, which should never happen, but they did. But against the Kansas City Chiefs, I mean, this is just a different team. Last time the Chiefs played the 49ers, they blew them out of the water. And don't get me wrong here, it's a division game. The Chargers know the Chiefs better than probably anyone, because they're division teams and they're really close in talent. But this game, it's not about Justin Herbert against Patrick Mahomes. This game is going to be about the trenches, bro. The Chargers got to play their style of football. Austin Eckler needs to get going on the ground. Obviously, defensively, the Chargers, we know they can. The Chargers, statistically speaking, are actually awful against the run. Like, I'm not going to lie, but they did well against the 49ers, against McCaffrey. So you're telling me that they can't do well against Pacheco and Jerick McKinnon? Like, this is a game that the Chargers have to win, in my opinion. They have to win this game, and they can lose this and still make the playoffs, but how can you lose to your rival at home after you lost to them, obviously, in their house? So split the series would be great. And like I said, if you win this game and you carry some momentum, I mean, if you can beat the Chiefs, you're not facing a team as difficult as them. Like, after that, the Cardinals, Raiders, Dolphins. I mean, the Dolphins are hella good, bro, but in Miami, right? In Miami, that's where the Dolphins are almost unstoppable. But that game's going to be in Los Angeles. So, like I said, bro, I'm not trying to sit here and act like a Charger expert. I don't think I looked at my notes once. I have notes, but I didn't even look at them because I'm just trying to talk to you guys and be authentic about it. But I appreciate you, man. Like I said, I got a lot of love for the Chargers. If you're still here, hit the like button for the algorithm. Full-time college, obviously, I run other channels. I honestly only run my main channel. Like, the only time I ever make videos outside of Swaggy is basically on my Chargers channel or my Packers channel.